and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our brand new stamp set, Kanga-rrific, and its coordinating dies. We're also going to be introducing the Kanga-rrific add-on stamp set and its coordinating dies, and also the Kanga-rrific baby sentiment add-on. So let's go ahead and check them all out. First, we're going to take a look at the Kanga-rrific stamp set, which is filled with the cutest kangaroos. We have this jumping kangaroo and a standing mama kangaroo. We also have these little baby kangaroos. So we've got this super cute little guys that can kind of interact together there. And I love this guy that's kind of running and looking back at mom. We also have some little babies that you can put in mama's pouch. And we have two different styles of them. Then we have all of these fun little things that they can hold and interact with. So we have a little bouquet of hearts and a bouquet of flowers. We have a little gift that the awesome kangaroos can be giving. We have the cutest little greeting card that they can hold and a little flower crown for them as well. And then here you can see the fun phrases that you can stamp for the card. You can stamp I heart Roo, I heart you, or love Joey on there, which I think is so sweet. And you can stamp any of those on that little greeting card. We also have this sign, and we have that classic little jumping kangaroo image for it. And then we also have a Kanga crossing little sentiment that you can put inside the sign too. Then we have these cute little butterflies that are really fun for setting the scene. And we have these little trails that you can stamp after them so you can kind of show their flight through the air. We also have this great little kind of trail here that we can show the bouncing of the kangaroos, which is so fun. And then we have two different hearts here, a large one and a small one, which are super cute for stamping above the kangaroos. We have all of these fun little mini phrases. We have Good Day, Mate. We have Happy Mom's Day, and also Flutter for the butterflies. And then we have Bounce, of course, for them, and Hop, which is super cute to stamp around the kangaroos. And, of course, we have Boing. Then we have all of these great mix and match sentiments. So we have a mom, and then we have hopping by to say, have a, and then we have all of these different sentiments. So you can say have a Kanga-rrific or hoppy or happy. So you can really mix and match these. You could add the mom or not. And then after all of those fun little things, you can write day. So have a Kanga-rrific day or Kanga-rrific birthday. And of course, we also have the phrase Mother's Day, which is so cute with that mama kangaroo. And then we have the to Roo, which is really fun to add to the ends of those phrases too. We have the sentiment, I love Roo so much, and then this one that says, I'll always be your Joey, which is so sweet for a Mother's Day card. And of course, we have an exclamation point to add to the ends of your phrases. Now it's time to add some color to these adorable kangaroos. And for the first kangaroo, I am going to be using some E40 markers. I'm adding my darkest shadow kind of all around the curves of the kangaroo. I just kind of use the curves as a guide. And then I'm just blending them out medium to light, just going along all those curves, making it nice and simple. And by just focusing on the curves of the kangaroo, I feel like it gives him a lot of dynamic movement. Now you'll see here, he was kind of looking like a little bit pale as I kept blending him out, like that E40 marker might be a bit too light. So I brought in that E50 marker and it kind of added a little bit of color to him that I thought looked really, really nice and kind of blended the whole thing together. Now we're going to add a little rosy cheek, of course, and then I'm going to use the E30s for the kangaroos. And the E30s might be my favorite for these kangaroos. I just think it's so cute. There you can see that I laid down my lightest marker first. I always do that because it's my way of testing out where I'm going to put all my highlights. That way, before I add the darkest marker, I can kind of see, how does that look? Oh, okay, I like how that's looking. I'm going to add my dark marker, then my medium, and then out to my light. And I like keeping his face really light there towards the nose. I think it looks really cute, like the sun is kind of shining down on him. And so for the rest of these kangaroos, I am going to be using this fun combo because I think it just turned out so nice for them. So I'll add a little bit of the shadow and then just keep blending it out just like that. And no matter how you color these guys, they look cute. I mean, they are just so adorable. One thing that I really love about this set is it can go for so many different occasions. So of course it is adorable for Mother's Day, but it is so much fun for birthday cards. It's great for I love Roo cards, I love you cards. There's so many different things that you can do with it by just changing up the sentiments. And I love that there's all those mix and match sentiments too. Then we also have that baby sentiment add-on that we'll show you in just a little bit that has the cutest baby sentiments, not only for these Kanga-rrific cards, but really for any baby card that you might make all year. And so now you can see all of my cute little kangaroos are just looking so adorable. And so I'm going to start adding color to all of these little accessories. So I love this little bouquet of hearts. I think it's so sweet, especially when the kangaroos are holding them. And so I'm going to be using that same pink combo for lots of different elements. So that way they're all going to coordinate nicely on my card. I've got it for the flowers, the hearts, etc. And then I'm going to use kind of the same greens, etc. throughout too. That way I just have everything matching really, really beautifully. I love yellow, so I decided to make a bouquet of little yellow flowers there. And then for the present, we're going to have it white in the card too. And I like to add a little light blue around the edges to kind of give it a bit of a pop. Here I wanted to have that traditional yellow road sign color, and so I went ahead and did that and also colored in the pole there, kind of like a metal color. And then for these butterflies, I decided to use some really pretty purples on them. And you can see just how fun and sweet these kangaroos are. Now we're going to take a look at the Kanga-rrific add-on stamp set, and this stamp set is filled with scene builder elements that are perfect for Kanga-rrific cards, and these two eucalyptus trees are just the cutest things. We also have two different styles of rocks that are really great for helping set the scene, and we have these little grasses that I love to layer close to the trees and around the rocks too. And then one of my favorite images from this set is this little flower. It's like a little dandelion puff, and it is just so cute and sweet. Next up, we have some super cute little critters. We have this kookaburra who's so cute in the tree. We have this frilled lizard and also another cute little lizard too. I love that they can kind of talk to each other. And then we have another little butterfly that's perfect for adding into your skies. We have some tiny little phrases like the ha 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 and what's so funny to go along with our laughing kookaburra. We have I'm frilled for you to go along with the frilled lizard, and then we also have good on ya and good day, and also the word hi. And I love stamping these phrases above the little critters. It's just so cute and fun. And then we also have this adorable, sweet little heart that's perfect for adding around your little critters and kangaroos, and these together are so much fun. Now, next up, we have our baby sentiment add-on, and this has the best sentiments for any baby cards, not only with Kanga-rrific, but really any baby card you might make at any time. And it has all of these mix and match phrases, so you can do things like, you're going to be a great mom, you're going to be great parents, you're going to be a great dad. There's so many fun things. You could also mix and match it with the Kanga-rrific sentiment, so you could say you're going to be a Kanga-rrific mom, which is so fun. Then we also have congratulations, and we have it's a bouncing baby boy, or it's a bouncing baby girl, which is super, super cute to go along with the kangaroos. And then we have an exclamation point that you can add to the ends of your phrases. And then here you can see how cute it is to mix and match this. So I love the idea of hopping by to say you're going to be a great mom or things. So it's so fun to not only use that sentiment set on its own, but to also mix and match it with all the sentiments that are included in the Kanga-rrific stamp set. Now, for these awesome trees, I was inspired by Tammy on our design team to color them in this way, and I think it's just so pretty. She added some little dots for texture, so I added those in, and then I just kind of blended it out with a lighter marker so they weren't quite so prominent. And then I just like adding my darker marker towards the bottom and then along the details, and then I just kind of blend it out with the two lighter markers, and it just looks so pretty on this eucalyptus tree. Then we're going to go ahead and work on the green part of the other little mini tree. And I love that there's two sizes of trees so that it's easy to kind of mix and match them in scenes to really fill in your forest and background for your kangaroos. I filled in the other grasses and leaves with those same greens so that everything will coordinate together really nicely. And then here I'm going to use some E40 markers for these trees, and I'm keeping them really nice and light just to kind of have a really nice light tree in the background. We're going to be using some pastel colors, but these look really beautiful colored in more bold shades as well, and we'll show you that in a card in a little bit in the video. For the rocks, I'm going to use some warm grays, and once again, I'm just using the curves and the lines in the stamp to kind of tell me where to put my darkest marker and then my lightest marker, and then I'm going to do some little dots as well to just kind of coordinate with the little dots that we did on the trees. I'm going to add these yellows here to those cute little flowers. And then for the kookaburra, I went to Google Images and I looked up images of kookaburra, and then I looked at my markers and I kind of picked out colors to match, and I was really excited with how he turned out. I just think he is just so cute. And then for this frilled lizard here, we're doing some really, really fun kind of bright reds. And that's going to add a fun pop of color to the card and also some little dots to give him some texture. And then we'll use some olivey greens for this cute little lizard here. And I just think he is adorable. And then some more purples with the butterfly to match the butterfly that we colored on the Kanga-rrific stamp set. And you can see how beautiful and fun these images are all together. Here are the coordinating dies for the Kanga-rrific stamp set, which you can separate at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate. And then here you can see you can line them up with your stamped images and hold them in place with some low-tack tape, and then run it through the die cut machine. But first I wanted to show you something special about this little mama kangaroo die. It has this little die inside of it that cuts a little kind of cut line on her belly so you can tuck the little baby in. Now you can separate that piece out just like that and line it up separately, but I like to just leave it in there because then it always cuts the little pouch for me and I could always tuck a little baby inside because I think that's so cute. So you can either separate that little piece or just leave it in there. That way you can always have a cute little area to add a little baby on that adorable kangaroo. And here you can see all of the images from the set. And now we're going to mix and match them and play around with them. So you can see how cute the mama is with the little baby there. You can have that bouncing little line there with the kangaroo who's jumping around. And then the little kangaroos can hold the bouquet or hold the little greeting card. And the mama can also hold the bouquets, which is really, really sweet. And you can give her the little flower crown or the other jumping one, the flower crown too. And then here's what it looks like. So you can see the die cut that little slit there and you can tuck the little babies inside. And is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? I just think it's so adorable. The other really great thing is you could also even tuck in the little bouquets, which is a fun look, so that it looks like she's holding these little bouquets. And I think that is just adorable. You can do it with her flower bouquet as well, or of course you can add back in her little Joey, which is just also such a sweet way to use this set. And then of course you can do some more fun and mix and match scenes. There are so many fun scenes that you can create with this. I love the little guy holding the present for a birthday card, and the little trails after the butterflies are just adorable. And even the big mama kangaroo can hold the bouquet too. Now this set has two little places that you can stamp different phrases. And so I wanted to show you what it looked like when you stamped in these guys. So for the sign, we're going to stamp that cute little kind of silhouette of a kangaroo. I just think this is adorable on there. And it's just such a fun little scene builder for your cards. Like, look how cute that is. And then I'm going to stamp the I Heart Roo in the little greeting card. There's something about a card that has a kangaroo holding a card that I don't know. I just love. It just makes me smile. And so I'm just going to add a little pink to the heart there in the I Heart Roo, and I just think that is so adorable with this little kangaroo holding the card. Next up, we have the coordinating dies for the Kanga-rrific add-on stamp set, which you can also bend apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate. Then you can take your dies and line them up with your stamped images, hold them in place with some low-tack tape. Then you can run it through the die cut machine and you'll have beautifully die-cut images every time. And here is a look at all of these pieces from the Kanga-rrific add-on set that is just such a fun seam builder set for the Kanga-rrific stamp set. And then here's a look how you can kind of mix and match these images. So the little kookaburra in the tree is just so sweet. And then you can layer the little grasses around the rocks. You can add the lizards to the rocks, which is really fun, and just kind of mix and match all these little elements. And you'll see us do that when we make cards in the video today, where it's just so fun to mix and match all of these. And then of course you can bring in the Kanga-rrific stamp set to all of these, and you can see how many images there are when you combine these stamp sets together. There's just so many things you can mix and match. I'm telling you, I just have such a blast with this stamp set. I mean, look how cute she is with the flower crown and the little Joey there. I just love it so much. You can have the little baby be next to her too. You can have this other little style of baby in there, the jumping line. There's just so many cute and fun ways to use all of these images. So now let's go ahead and start creating with these. So we're going to take out the brand new Rainbow Ever After pack, and there is this striped paper that is just gorgeous. Then we're also going to be taking out one of my favorite papers, and this paper is called Fairy Godmother, and it's like this beautiful sunset, and we're going to be using this as the sky for our Kanga-rrific scene. Now, one thing that I love about these stripes is they can be vertical or horizontal, and in this case, I thought vertical would be really nice. So we're going to trim this down to be 5.5 by 4.25. And then we're going to be trimming down that sunset piece, and at first I'm just going to trim it to be 4.5 inches wide because we're going to be using a stitched rectangle frame here that's 4.5 inches wide, but I wanted to die cut this frame first out of white cardstock, and I'm going to kind of use it like a little viewfinder to decide exactly what part of the sunset I want in my card. I wanted to see, do I want a little bit more yellow, a little bit more pink? So I was just kind of playing around with what I thought would look nice. And then once I find the perfect point, I can just take my pencil and make some little tick marks and then trim it down so that I have the perfect piece to fit behind my frame. Now, the next thing I need is some grass for these awesome kangaroos to be standing in. So I'm going to take out my Grassy border die and I'm just going to die cut some plain cardstock, and we're going to ink this cardstock up to create a really pretty green that's going to kind of coordinate with the green markers that we did earlier and the really pretty green in the pattern paper. And right now we are recreating a card by Tammy that absolutely blew me away when I saw it. So thank you so much, Tammy. Now here I'm piling up some different greens and I wasn't quite sure what I needed. So I started off with bundled sage and shabby shutters, and then I added in cracked pistachio because it was a little bit too limey. And then I went back and added in a little bit more of the bundled sage because now it was a little bit too soft. So I kept just going back and forth. And that's okay. That's what I love about these inks is you can just kind of keep adding on there until you think it looks nice. And I really liked how it was looking. And then I wanted to add some splatters. So I smeared some ink on a block, added a little water, and I'm just picking it up with a paintbrush and tapping it to create little splatters to go along with all those little dots that we colored into the trees earlier. Now to layer this beautiful grass behind the frame, we're just going to add some tape runner behind the frame, just kind of along the bottom and up the sides a little bit. And then we can layer that over the grass just when it's kind of in perfect placement there and then press down. Then I wanted this frame to have some pop on that beautiful pattern paper. So I'm going to flip it over and add some foam squares and foam strips. And then we can layer it over that sunset paper to get this gorgeous look and a perfect place to make our kangaroo scene. Next, I'm going to take out a standard size card base that's 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to layer the striped pattern paper over top. And then we'll add some tape runner behind our little frame piece, and we'll layer that in the center of the card too. Then we'll go ahead and take those images that we stamped and colored earlier from the Kanga-rrific stamp set and the Kanga-rrific add-on stamp set. And I'm going to take a white gel pen and add just some little highlights onto the images, just kind of going around the curves, adding little curves and little dots. I just feel like it really helps the images pop and kind of gives them a fun three-dimensional feel. Then I'm going to start layering everything into the scene. So we're going to start off with that big tree first, and then I'm going to layer some of the little rocks and grasses all around it. And then I'll add those favorite little flowers of mine too, and then this cute little frilled lizard on top. Oh my goodness, he's just adorable on top of that rock. Then I decided to kind of do my design on the right side now, and I'm going to fill out all the edges and then put all my kangaroos in the middle. And for this tree, of course, we're going to use the smaller tree and then also layer those grasses and little flowers. Now, for the mom, I like to put adhesive behind the mom and adhesive behind the Joey, and then I tuck him inside. That way, there's kind of adhesive everywhere holding him in place, and he's just looking so cute there. Then I'm going to add some foam squares behind this little jumping guy, and we're going to put him over there by the bigger tree. And he's going to be holding that little greeting card for his mom, because this is a really cute Mother's Day card we're creating here. Then I'm going to layer the mama right there in the center, and then we're going to take this other little baby here that's going to be looking up at mom. And you'll see I kind of just shifted mom over once I saw how everything was going to fit into the card, and this little scene is so sweet. I'm going to give her a flower crown, and she looks beautiful with that flower crown. And then add a little heart there as if she's talking to her baby there, and they have some love there, which is so sweet. And then I'm going to go ahead and I tried to add that bouquet, but it was a little bit busy. So I'm going to make a card later and add that bouquet in then. Now here I took out the phrase Happy Mother's Day from the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that in some black ink. You can see I kept stamping it a little bit too close to the edge because I'm just going to trim a little rectangle around it. So I'm just going to kind of use my paper trimmer there to go all the way around and create this nice little rectangle around my sentiment. Then I'll add some foam squares to the back of that and layer that into the sky. And for a finishing touch, we're going to add that little butterfly kind of flying away from the scene and then add a little trail. The trail was a bit long there, was kind of going to get in the way of my sentiment. So I just trimmed off the edge, added a little tape runner, and I just tucked it right behind the butterfly. And it's kind of a little custom sized trail there. And now this card is all done. And look how sweet this is. It's just the most perfect Mother's Day card. It just makes me smile so much. And I wanted to show you, I have Tammy's card that she created, and I wanted to show you my version versus hers. So I added some of the Mother's Day elements in there and changed up the sentiment. So I love that you can take a fun design by one of your crafty friends and kind of come up with some cute ideas. Now the other phrase that I really love is the I'll always be your Joey. So I'm going to stamp that inside of the Mother's Day card. Then we'll put it in an envelope and add some of this super, super cute new washi tape that I love so much. And this is perfect to send to make someone a very happy Mother's Day. Now it's time to create another card, and this time we were inspired by Audrey. And so we're going to be using this largest of the outside in stitched rectangles, and we're going to die cut some white cardstock, and we're going to be doing some inking on this cardstock, and the inking is what's going to create our ground and sky. So we're going to use antique linen, vintage photo, and also some ground espresso to create our ground for our kangaroos. And you'll see that we won't have a defined edge for the ground or the sky, and that's what I thought was just so pretty about this design. So we're going to go up about, I don't know, gosh, a little bit more than a quarter there, about a third of the way up, I guess, for the ground. And then we're going to use tumbled glass and then salvage patina for the sky. And so you'll see that they're just kind of blending together there between the brown and the blue, and I think that's so pretty. Then we're going to spray some water from a spray bottle and spray that right on there to give it some really, really awesome texture. And then take a dry paper towel and just pick up any of those splatters. And then we're going to create some more splatters to create some texture on the ground. And so to do that, we're just going to take a scrap piece of paper here and layer it over the sky so that we don't end up with any of the splatters in the sky area. And then here we're going to take some Copic white, but any white acrylic paint would do. And we're just going to tap the paintbrush here and create some awesome little splatters. And there you can see those all over the ground. Then to create some more texture and have some brown splatters too, which looks so great for dirt and sand, we're going to smear some dark brown ink and add some water to that. And then once again, tap our paintbrush to create these little splatters. And whenever you're doing dirt and sand, if you do the dark brown and the white splatters, I don't know what it is, but it gives it the perfect texture. And look how beautiful this is looking. To create some fun texture for our bouncing kangaroos, we're going to use these stitched bouncy trails. And these are really fun because they're subtle but really gorgeous on a card. And I like that it's really going to go along nicely with the stitched rectangle that we inked on. So we're going to lay that down and run that through the die cut machine. And look how cool that looks. And then we're going to add one more kind of little bouncy trail on there. And these are really fun. I love these for the kangaroos or bunnies or anybody that hops like a frog. They're just really fun. And I like that it's a subtle way to add that bouncy texture to your card. Now here we're going to take some of these outline clouds. These are so fun because it's a way to add a cloud into your sky without taking up so much of your sky with a white cloud and still letting that inking show through. And so we're going to be layering these into the sky, and we're also going to be taking out our Kanga-rrific stamp set and Kanga-rrific add-on. And we went ahead and stamped and colored and die cut a bunch of images from these set. And you can see this time we've done much bolder colors, and you can see how gorgeous those trees look in the bolder colors. So we're going to be layering some foam squares on a lot of these images because we have a nice flat kind of inked background, and the pop is going to give it a really fun look. And so we're going to add these trees into the background, and there's something about the two trees together that I think looks so nice. And then we're going to layer both a big and small jumping kangaroo. And so here we're going to layer over that. And by layering over the tree some, it looks like they're a little bit more in the ground than just floating, which I think is really, really cool. And then we're going to layer the little smaller guy. I like that he's looking back. Maybe he's looking at some of his other little kangaroo friends that are bouncing along too. And then we're going to add some liquid glue behind these clouds, and we're going to layer those into the sky. And we're going to have them going off the edge because that's going to help give the feeling of kind of like a continuous scene, which I think is really, really cute. We're also going to be adding this sign into the background, and I think this is just adorable, and it's like one of those classic images that you see with the kangaroos and the kangaroo crossing sign. I just think that's really, really adorable. And then to help ground the sign, we're going to be adding some of these little rocks and things too. So we grounded the trees by covering them up with the kangaroo a little bit. Now we're going to ground the sign with these little rocks. Then we're going to add some more of these little details into the scene to just kind of help set the whole thing. And the little lizards on the rocks that look like they're talking to each other, I think is so fun. It even looks like the little kangaroo looking back might be looking back at his frilled lizard friend. And then we'll layer in some more of those tiny little rocks too. And I think this is just looking so adorable. For the sentiment for this card, we're going to use the I love Rue so much, which is one of my favorites from the set. I think it's just so sweet. And we're going to stamp that out in some awesome black licorice ink here. And we're going to do that onto some white cardstock. And then we're going to line it up with a sentiment banner. And we're going to put that flagged end kind of exactly where we want it on the right side because we're just going to end up trimming off the left side on the card. Then we're going to add some foam squares onto this too so that it has a nice pop over the scene. And then we can just peel up that liner paper and layer it onto the card. And there you can see how it's just going to kind of fit onto the card and kind of tuck there into the trees, which is really cute. And then we can just trim off any of the excess of the clouds and the banner. And I just like the look of the things kind of going off the edge. I think it's just going to look so beautiful. And there you can see just how gorgeous this is looking. The next thing that we need is a standard size card base that's going to be 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to be layering this piece with some foam squares on top to give it some pop. And that's a really, really fun look for this. I usually layer my pieces on with just tape runner, but with the foam, it just really gives it a nice look and a nice little kind of framed feel. And now this card is all done. I love this scene so much. It's so cute. I think this would make anyone's day. And I love the idea of just ink blending the ground and the sky there in the background. I just think it looks so beautiful. Next up, we are going to be creating a platform pop-up with the awesome Kanga-rrific stamp set. And if you've never made a platform pop-up before, make sure to check out our intro to platform pop-up. We will link it in the description below. And so we've die cut 2 of the base pieces and 3 of those T-shaped inserts out of the awesome new Rainbow Ever After paper. And I love this beautiful kind of turquoise stripe. And we are going to be folding along all of the score lines that the die has created for us on both of these pieces. And so you'll see that we've got all those kind of horizontal folds, and then we'll also go and find our vertical folds too. Next, we're going to take out some double-sided tape, and we're going to be adding that to the tabs on both pieces. So there's this little side tab here, and then there's the tab there at the bottom as well. And so we're going to layer that onto both of the pieces. Then, while we have our double-sided adhesive tape out, we're going to add it to the bottom of 2 of these. And there's a little score line at the bottom of the T-shaped pieces, so we're doing below the score line, and then we're just going to fold back along that score line there. And then for the last T, it's a little bit different. We're going to fold back on the score line, and we're actually going to trim off that bottom piece. And then we're going to add some of the tape there to that kind of bottom part of the T, just like that. Then we'll take the T-shaped piece and we're going to feed it through the slot. Then we'll go ahead and peel up the liner paper on the tab of the T-shaped piece. And then we're going to fold on that second fold there, pull on that tab and press down, and that'll make it be in perfect placement. Then we'll peel up the liner paper on the next tab, and we're going to fold along that next fold and then press down to secure it in place close to that scalloped edge. And now you can see we have a little 3-dimensional piece, and we're going to repeat that with the other one. So we'll feed the T-shaped piece through the slot, we'll peel up that liner paper, then we're going to fold along that first big fold there, pull on the tab and press down to secure it in place. And then we're going to peel up the liner paper there on that next tab, and we're going to fold along that next big fold and then press down again, securing that right by that scalloped edge. And now we have 2 pieces that look exactly the same. Next, we're going to take our 2 pieces and we are going to be lining them up so they're one long piece. So we're going to peel up the liner paper on that tab right there. And then we're just going to butt the 2 pieces up against each other. And once they're perfectly lined up, then we can go ahead and press down on that tab and secure those in place. Then we're going to take that last T-shaped piece, we'll peel off the liner paper for that, and we're going to attach that right there, kind of lined up with the T-shaped piece above it, and so that the top of the T is hanging out above that fold, just like that. Then we'll go ahead and take some more of that double-sided adhesive tape, and we're going to layer it right over this T-shaped piece. And we only need to add this tape to this one side. So we're going to add 1 extra T, so there'll be 3 total T's, and then 1 place that we're going to be putting this adhesive. Then we'll peel up that liner paper and we're going to fold these in half so that those 2 pieces kind of line up just like that. And then we can press down and secure it. And then that other little tab there, you'll just tuck inside and press down. And now you can push up from the bottom and you'll have this incredible 3D shaped card that can fold flat for mailing, but it's 3-dimensional and so much fun to decorate. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to take out our fruit salad paper, and we're also going to be taking out one of these little hills that's included in the platform pop-up, and we're going to go ahead and die cut some of that beautiful plaid paper that's going to kind of serve as our ground for our kangaroos. Then we're going to flip over all of these ground pieces, and we're going to add 1/8-inch double-sided tape along the bottom of each of these pieces, the bottom and the back of all of them. Then we can peel up the liner papers on the hills and then add them to the front of the tops of those T-shaped pieces, and they're the perfect length to fit right in front of those. So we'll take our next one, we can peel up the liner paper and once again line it up with that T-shaped piece and then just press to secure it with your fingers. And then we're going to do 1 more of these. So we'll peel up the liner paper and then we'll go ahead and attach that to the back T-shaped piece. So we have 3 hills that we're going to decorate now. And to decorate, of course, we're going to bring out our Kanga-rrific and Kanga-rrific add-on stamp sets. And so we went ahead and stamped and die cut and colored a bunch of these images in those beautiful soft colors like we did on the first card. I just really fell in love with those gorgeous colors. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a background here on this back hill filled with the trees. And so that's going to create this whole kind of almost like backdrop scene, like as if you were kind of looking at a little theater and you've got the background scenery there. That's going to be our background scenery to add our gorgeous jumping kangaroo. And so we're just adding a little bit of adhesive on the bottom of these images where they're going to touch those hills, and then we can just add them right to the hills. And by adding things on all three hills, it's going to give your card a bunch of dimension. Now here's that little bouquet that didn't fit in the first card. We were able to fit it in this one, and so we're going to have that little kangaroo holding those. We're going to add a kookaburra into the tree, which is just so cute and sweet. And then we're going to go ahead and layer some of these little seam building pieces right around. So honestly, you can layer all these little rocks and grasses and flowers anywhere on your card, and it's going to just look amazing. I mean, look at that little lizard. He is just so cute. And so we're going to layer in some more of these little kind of awesome seam builder pieces. We have some more rocks and grasses, and you'll see we just keep layering things, those little flowers that I love so much. And then right now here you can kind of keep taking a peek at your card and seeing where else you feel like filling in would make it look really nice. And so we're going to fill in some more grasses around the trees in the background there, just kind of help fill that in. And we're also going to add some more of those little flowers. I mean, look how cute this is looking. Now, once we kind of reevaluate it again, I mean, there's more images stamped there. We might as well add more cute little accessories, right? So we're going to add some more rocks and flowers. And as you keep filling this scene in, you can see more and more of it come to life. And this three-dimensional scene is just the cutest thing ever. Now we need a sentiment for the card. So we're going to take out the Stripes and Sprinkles paper pack, and there's this really pretty dotted yellow in there. And we're going to die cut with some of the little rectangles that are included with the platform pop-up, because that's the perfect size to layer on the front. And we're going to make this a birthday card. So we are going to be stamping out in some Narwhal ink, which is a really great gray and really nice thing to use for a sentiment on a softer card like this. And we're going to stamp out, "Have a Kanga-rrific birthday." And I think this looks so cute on this little panel. And there's something about the gray and the yellow together that I just think is so pretty. So now that we have our sentiment done, we can add some tape runner to the back of it. And then we're going to layer that on the front part here of the platform pop-up. And you can see just how pretty that is. And I like that the yellow of that paper is going to go along with the yellow of the flower bouquet and all of our little background flowers too. And there you can see as you push up, look at this cute scene. It's just so adorable. For one last little finishing touch here, we're going to add this cute little flower. And then we thought, what does a birthday need? It needs a birthday hat. So this is the All the Party Hat stamp set. And I love these hats because they come in all these different sizes and styles. So they're perfect for any critter in your stash. And they're really, really cute on these kangaroos. So we're going to be stamping out both a large and a small hat. We're going to pick out two different styles just for some fun variety. We have a polka dotted one and a striped one. We'll add some color to these and then we'll die cut them. And then we can add some adhesive and layer them onto our kangaroos. And these hats are so cute. It turns any critter card into a birthday card immediately just by adding these adorable little hats. So we'll add the smaller hat to our smaller kangaroo there. And I don't know, there's just something about this. I just think it's so cute and it just makes it so birthday-y. And now this awesome three-dimensional platform pop-up Kanga-rrific card is done. You can fold it flat and mail it with standard postage. When you push up from the bottom, you get this incredible 3D scene. I love the trees in the background kind of setting the scene for our adorable jumping kangaroos and all the dimension this card has. The soft colors are so pretty and perfect for spring, and I think this is just the cutest birthday card. I also love that I could use this design but change up the sentiment depending on the occasion, and I think I might do this because this is definitely becoming a very favorite card. It is just so adorable. And next up, Shari is going to make the sweetest card. I love it so much. So take it away, Shari.
So on my card today, I'm using all three of the Kanga-rrific stamp sets. I have that big kangaroo and the baby from the original Kanga-rrific. I have the Kanga-rrific add-on with those really fun trees and all those little small animals and accessories. And then I will also be using the Kanga-rrific baby sentiment add-on set for the sentiment for my card. So I've pulled that little set out. I already have my images colored and cut out with the coordinating dies, and I'm just setting that aside for the moment while I work on the Background for my card. I'm creating a little panel for my scene using some Rainbow Ever After paper. I'll be using that green as my ground, but I'm using a sheet of 12 by 12. This is the Alice paper, and I'm using that B side with the tone on tone spots for a panel to frame up my scene. For my scene, I am using this beautiful ombre paper from the Petite paper pack, and I'll cut this out with a smaller stitch rectangle. This is going to be my sky, and then I'll cut out just the bottom of this stitch rectangle from the green stripe paper. This is going to be my ground. I do want to go ahead and stamp my sentiment onto this pattern paper so I know how high up I can cut my stitched hillside and I have my spacing correct. I'm pulling out all the stamps to create the sentiment that says you're going to be a great mom. I think that this stamp set is fun because you can change it up to say mom, dad, parents. You can customize it to whichever situation you need a sentiment for. So I'm just lining these up and kind of stacking them on top of each other on my grid mat, and then I will pick everything up with the acrylic block. These are really easy to line up because all of those words are on a rectangular base and you just have to butt the words up against each other. So I'm lining this up with my block and I'll just pick that up and I'll stamp this in some black licorice ink close to the bottom of this little panel. What's really nice about this is I have those lines, so it's really easy to get things nice and straight. So here is my little sentiment that says you're going to be a great mom. And now I can cut the top of this little panel with a simple stitched hillside to create the ground where my kangaroo will sit. I'm just kind of looking to make sure that's a good height and it's not too close and it's not going to crowd my sentiment. That looks good, so I'll hold it in place with a piece of removable tape and run that through my die cut machine. Now that this is cut, I can add this to the bottom of my ombre panel, and I think this makes the most beautiful kind of sunset looking sky. I will go ahead and start to assemble my card by putting my polka dot panel onto my card base. I did cut this out with the largest of the outside in stitch rectangles, so when I put this on a white card base, I am going to have that little white frame around this panel. I love this tone on tone dot. I think it gives a nice texture, but it's not too overwhelming, and it just adds some fun to this card. I am going to go ahead and build my scene on this panel before I add it to my card, and I'm starting with my kangaroo. I need to add that little baby to the pocket, and then I can add this in the center and start to build my scene around her. So I'm just gluing her directly to that background piece. And then I have these really cool trees. And what I like about this is because I'm working on a small panel, I can have these trees hang over the outside edges of the rectangle and give this card a unique look. I really love the look of these trees. I think they're very fun. So you can see that one is popping up above the top of the panel and hanging off the right side. Then I'll do the same with this one. It can hang off the left side. Now I didn't tuck the trunk of the little tree because it's going to get covered up by this rock and a little lizard. And I decided I wanted to pop those up with some foam squares. So I'll add this rock so that it overhangs the left edge of the rectangle as well, and then I can add a little foam square to my lizard. Now that foam square was a little bit bigger, it was kind of showing off the side, so I'm going to cut some in half and just make them half the thickness, and that is a perfect size to fit on the back side of this cute little lizard. I am adding a little bit of liquid glue to his feet so he touches that rock. And you can see I could have even made that little tree a little bit taller because I hid the bottom of it behind these images. Now on the right side I have a little tuft of grass as well as this cute little flower which I'm going to tuck behind the top of the hillside and hang off the right side of the rectangle. This cute little bird up in the tree, and then finally this little purple lizard, which I'm using another one of those foam squares that I cut in half to add him, and his little tail will hang off that right side. So I made this cute little scene, and all these little elements kind of extend out past this rectangle, which is a lot of fun. Now I've added some foam tape on the back of this panel, and I can just pop this onto my card base and center it up, and I just think that this looks really fun. I love how the images kind of overlap over into that pattern paper. Of course, I wanted to add some glitter accents to everything, so I'll be adding it to the trees and the rock and the grass and that little flower. I'm also pulling out Henry's Build a Sentiment stamp set. This stamp set is really great for adding some sentiments to the inside of your cards. There are a lot of words and you can kind of build custom sentiments, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to use this for the inside of my card, which I do not do all the time. So I'm pulling out all of the words to spell out the sentiment, "Congrats on your bundle of joy." And there's quite a few different baby sentiments you could build from this set, hence the reason it's called Build a Sentiment. I'm just lining those pieces up, picking it up with my block just like I did for the sentiment on the front, and I'll stamp this on the inside with some black licorice ink. And here's another final look at my card using all the Kanga-rrific stamp sets and that rainbow ever after paper, and I love that Henry's Build a Sentiment on the inside.
This card is just so sweet, and I love the sentiment so much. Oh my goodness, it's just so beautiful. And next up, we have some incredible cards by the design team. And this first card by Grace just blew me away. These kangaroos are perfect for slimline cards, and I love her big sentiment and how the little kangaroos are jumping on top of it. It's perfect with the "it's a bouncing baby girl" sentiment. Oh my goodness. Megan's scene is just so sweet. I love all the kangaroos together in the kookaburra and the tree, and the sentiment on a vellum is such a beautiful touch. Here, I love how Yainea used an oval to highlight her image. It's so pretty, and the pattern paper sky just makes me smile. This card by Callie is so much fun. I love the layers of brown and green grass and the fun colors that she added to her lizard and her kookaburra. It's just adorable. And then this card by Maureen is so pretty. The stenciled mountains in the background are so perfect, and I can't wait to do that too. Here's the card by Audrey that inspired us to make ours today. I just think it is so gorgeous, and her inking is so pretty. This card by Elise is so sweet. I love all the hearts and the butterflies, and it's such a perfect Mother's Day card with the little kangaroo holding the bouquet of hearts. And then here, I loved Lynette's idea of using the peekaboo backdrop to create 4 different scenes. I think that it's just so adorable and sweet. And then here is the card by Tammy that inspired us to make ours. I love the gorgeous soft colors and the way she used the pattern paper. And then I love how Letitia used the scripty mom in her adorable scene, and I love that the little lizard almost has like the card on his back. I just think it's adorable. So we cannot wait to see what you guys create with Kanga-rrific, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!